What's going on? It's Astronaut H, and this is the What More Do You Want Network. Now, in this video, I will be discussing tonight's game between the Chicago Bulls and Boston Celtics. Tonight's matchup is the first matchup of the season between the two teams. Of course, we all know that last season the Bulls did get the better of the Celtics in the first matchup between the two. So, without further ado, I will be getting into the game. The first quarter, the Celtics started off hot, and I mean smoking. Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum looked basically like they were going to have an unbelievable night between the two of them. We're talking about the first 9 points of the game was scored with just them. They start off the game, 12-0 run. Then the Bulls finally score with 8 minutes and 35 seconds to go in the quarter. So I'm like, okay, I'm watching the game. I'm thinking it's going to be a long one. The Bulls have no energy in the beginning of the game. It just looked like the air was out of the building in the first few minutes of the game. And I'm just like, okay, I don't know what Billy Donovan was going to cook up. I don't know who he was going to bring in, but it just didn't seem like the Bulls had it in the beginning, right? So, as the game and the quarter goes along, the Celtics are still hot. I'm talking about Celtics start the game on a 20-6 run. Bulls down 14 early. And, it was more of the same what I've always been preaching ever since the beginning of the season. Easy drives, open threes. More easy drives, more open threes for the Celtics. But, the Bulls, as the quarter comes along, right? Boston, of course, they start 8 of 9 from 3. But the Bulls start to make a run towards the end of the first quarter. Billy put in Green, added in AC, and you saw the bench in the second unit give the Bulls that spark that was missing at the beginning of the game. And, at the end of the quarter, the Bulls make their run, and the game is pretty close. Now, in the second quarter, when Brown and Tatum go to the bench, that's when the Bulls, that second unit, they show out. I'm talking about, you seen guys making plays, and the Bulls started to score. The Bulls started to score, and they end up tying the game. They end up tying the game at 44. Then they go up early. Then they go up by 2 early in the second quarter. Now, by that time, the Celtics weren't hitting the same shots at the same pace that they were in the first quarter. So I'm like, okay, the Bulls have a chance. You seen Zach, DeMar, especially Vucevic. He played great tonight. I'm talking about he was all over the glass. The Bulls. They look full of life, basically. They look full of life. Then the Bulls turn around and go on a 21-5 run. Now they broke the game wide open at this point. I don't know what was said in the huddle. I don't know but the Bulls honestly got to a point where, it looked like this is the type of game that we expected them to have tonight. Come out hitting on all cylinders, defending, everybody's moving, but the Bulls were cross-matched on a lot of early assignments in the first quarter. So that led to a lot of open shots. The Celtics do in the second quarter on a long 3 by Marcus Smart, and the Bulls ended up being up 11 at the half. Now, in the third, the Bulls continue the same pace. It was no letting off the gas. It was no, break in no type of movement. We had man movement. You had guys really, playing even harder at the beginning of the half. And you seen the Bulls basically outplay the Celtics in the second half. Basically, that's all that happened. You seen them basically outplay the team that, a lot of people are picking to return back to the NBA Finals out of the East especially. Now, when I looked at the first 3 quarters from Chicago, they had 30, 35, and 35. That's the first 3 quarters for the Chicago Bulls, right? So in my mind, I'm just looking at exactly what they're doing. Ayo Dosunmu playing well. Vucevic, again, like I said, playing well. The Bulls basically kept up the same energy through the entire 3rd quarter, and they end the quarter up 21. So basically, that was the ball game, I should say, because I didn't expect the Celtics to make a run for it in the 4th quarter. The Bulls were definitely up, and they were the better team after the first 3 quarters of tonight's game. And ultimately, the Bulls ended up winning 120-102. It was a great showing. As far as stats are concerned tonight, I definitely got to give one big shout out to Nikola Vucevic. He played so well tonight. He had 18 points, 23 rebounds. I mean, at times he looked like the Vucevic of old from Orlando. You had DeMar DeRozan with 25, Ayo with 22 off the bench, Derrick Jones Jr., who was another spark off the bench, with 10, Andre Drummond with 12 rebounds off the bench. Zach LaVine in his second game back, 19. Yeah, so the Bulls overall played a great basketball game after, not coming out with a lot of energy and a lot of just overall they wasn't amped up enough for the beginning of the game, but they ended up turning it around and they ended up winning their second game of the season. So now the Bulls are 2-2 on the season, which, like I said, I don't expect them to go 82-0. So I do see good things that you could take away from tonight's game. A lot of 3-point shots were made, which surprised me. The Bulls aren't the best 3-point shooting team. So, when it comes down to things like that, it's like when they do hit the 3, that lets you know it's going to be a good night for them. Especially when they're, rebounding and defending. You rebound, you defend, you hit the 3. You got a good chance to pretty much beat anybody. You don't turn the ball over. So ultimately, tonight's win overall was a great win for Chicago. They do play the Indiana Pacers on Wednesday, the 26th at, I believe the game starts at 8 p.m. That's a home game for Chicago. So we will see how that game goes. This is my Bulls report. Of course, as always, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you can know anytime a video is being uploaded to this channel. Every video that you guys tune in, listen to, and watch is greatly appreciated. This is the What More Do You Want Network. This is Astronaut H. And I'll catch you guys on the next video.